Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turned out a poem 767 to offer brave assistance. Now, one more time, we're back to Emily as a social justice warrior, is what we called her when we did poems 717 and 763. Both poems, as you will recall, about people who are disenfranchised. You will remember the beggar lad, 717, dies early and somewhat in the cold and somewhat in the trudging feet and happily in the world, the cruel smiling, bowing world that took its cambric way, nor heard the timid cry for bread, sweet lady charity among redeemed children. If trudging feet may stand, the barefoot time forgotten so, the sleet, the bitter wind, the childish hands that teased for pence lifted adoring then, to him who never ragged coat did supplicate in vain. And then you'll remember 763, he told a homely tale, make a note of homely, and spotted it with tears. Upon his infant face was set the cicatrice of years. All crumpled was his cheek, no other kiss had known. Then flake of snow divided with the red breast of the barn. If mother in the grave, or father on the sea, or father in the firmament, or brethren had he. If commonwealth below or commonwealth above have missed a barefoot citizen, I've ransomed it alive. Here in this poem, we're going to have a homely benediction that will be referenced. Now, I think that Emily is dancing with her King James Bible again, and I think that she's working with the book of Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. You'll remember in our study of Homer that we talked about Xenia, that idea of hospitality, of taking care of the stranger. In this poem, it'll be the nameless. Now, our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily's our playlist. I'm hoping you worked through our set of introductory comments as well as the preceding 766 poems. We just finished 766. My faith is larger. And I think in this poem, she's setting up a dichotomy between helping those who don't really need the help, who can, as she says it, stand alone, and then those that clearly need the help. She says it this way: to offer brave assistance to lives that stand alone when one has failed to stop them is human, but divine to lend an ample sinew unto a nameless man whose homely benediction no other stopped to earn. Now again, I think Emily is making a profound observation, probably from her study of growing up in her Christian orthodoxy, of how important it is to help she calls the nameless man. Notice we'll begin with the word brave. To offer brave assistance, by the way, we're going to go from brave to ample, assistance to lives that stand alone when one has failed to stop them is human. In other words, they've chosen to live on their own, and one can't keep them from doing it, and in that regards, that's a fairly human response. In other words, leave them alone. Let them do their thing. They are standing alone. But, and there's the key shift in the poem, divine, notice capitalized. In other words, it's a divine, it is a God thing, if you will, to lend an ample sinew. Notice we go from brave assistance to ample sinew unto a nameless man. Now, she uses the word nameless in 6 of her poems. In 288, you'll remember it, I'm nobody, who are you somebody too? This namelessness, this nobody person, notice man capitalized to be representative, whose homely benediction, you'll remember, homely back just now when we did 763. The only other use of benediction is 1723. It's not a word that she uses very much, but it is a religious term, right? No other stopped to earn. Well, I think the point that she's making here at 2a is that true love is the love, concern, respect, assistance for the nameless, for those who don't have the ability to stand alone. And who is that? Well, obviously, it's especially the disenfranchised children. And I think very much like William Blake, she's playing in our study of Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience, Chimney Sweeper comes to mind, Infant Sorrow. She's playing that same line of argument, thinking. It's okay to give assistance, not to even really give too much of it, to somebody who can stand alone. But what about those who are nameless? at 2B, is this a religious poem? The word benediction is there, and I'll leave it to you to decide how you read this poem. At 3A, well, obviously 288 on Nobody comes to mind, as well as 717 and 763. But I mentioned William Blake and Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience, and I think it is significant. Go back and look at our study of the Songs of Innocence version of Chimney Sweep, for example, or Infant Sorrow. Compelling stuff. Finally, at 3B, who in your life have you offered brave assistance to? And are you willing to help the nameless? I hope Emily continues to challenge us. Thank you.